All right.
Okay. Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So I guess it's finally official. We've been hearing rumors for months and months and months that the fight with Errol Spence and Sebastian Fundora is on, is off, is on, is off. Now the fight is officially off, according to ESPN. Sources say the WBO wouldn't sanction the fight because of Errol Spence's inactivity, his last TKO loss. He's never fought at 154. But it's also possible it could have been Errol Spence that pulled out of this fight as well. I think about what Turki Al-Sheikh just recently said when he said it has to be normal for fighters to lose in the sport of boxing today. Basically meaning, fighters can't be always turning down fights because of the fear of losing. Let me quote exactly what he said. He said, "We must now have it be normal to lose some fights in boxing. All the fighters want similar to the career of Floyd Mayweather, 0 losses. This can happen one time every 50, 60, 70 years. We need like the UFC model now, where the champions are losing and winning. Muhammad Ali, he lost 5 times and he's still the legend." Just some small corrections. Andre Ward, he also retired undefeated as pound for pound #1, the best fighter in the world when he retired. And there's a very good chance that Crawford may end up doing the same thing. It is true that Floyd Mayweather, he raised the bar when it comes to perfection in the sport of boxing. But this is not something new. No fighter ever wants to lose in any era. But because boxing is like no other sport, losing affects all fighters differently. Because there's a psychological component to losing in the sport of boxing. And it doesn't matter if the loss is by knockout or even if it's by decision. In basketball, football, a team can lose today and come back and play the very next week as if they never even lost. Boxing is not that way because the sport is so mental. If you guys have noticed, Errol Spence, after he lost, we haven't seen him since. Jermell Charlo lost to Canelo. We haven't seen him since. Mikey Garcia, he lost to Errol Spence. After that, he was never the same. He ended up retiring shortly after. Roy Jones wasn't the same after he lost. Leo Santa Cruz was not the same after he lost to Gervonta Tank Davis. He had 1 fight, and we haven't seen him since. But then you have fighters like Manny Pacquiao, who got knocked out multiple times before he became one of the best fighters in the world. You had Terry Norris, who was knocked out before he became one of the best fighters in the world. But Muhammad Ali's situation was a little bit different because he was able to avenge his losses. He lost in very close decisions, and he felt he could come back and beat those guys. Those names that I gave you, the examples of guys that lost, like Leo Santa Cruz, Jermell Charlo, and everybody else I mentioned, they knew that they couldn't come back and avenge those losses. And I truly believe Errol Spence, he feels the same way about his loss to Terence Crawford. So those type of losses, they affect fighters even more. I mean, I remember hearing Errol Spence say that maybe after this fight with Fundora, he's going to retire. So we don't really know what's going to happen with Errol Spence right now. I really would like to see how he bounces back from that loss. But it definitely was a devastating loss. Crawford, he actually reacted to this news, and he said should have took the fight when you had the chance. Now it's over with. Now Crawford, he could be talking to Fundora or even Errol Spence. But just in case you guys don't remember how it all played out, I'm going to give it to you in chronological order. So Terence Crawford was originally supposed to fight Errol Spence in a rematch because Errol Spence, he had a rematch clause. Errol Spence, he turned down the rematch. So then Terence Crawford, he targeted the then champion, Tim Tszyu, who was supposed to fight against Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, he pulled out of that fight. So Tszyu ended up fighting against Fundora. Fundora, he beats Tim Tszyu. So then Terence Crawford, he targets Fundora. Fundora, he turns down the Terence Crawford fight because he would rather fight the guy that just lost to Terence Crawford, Errol Spence. He knew that the Terence Crawford fight was going to be a very difficult fight to win. And this is the reason why we end up getting Crawford versus Madrimov. So Fundora's gamble did not pay off. He thought that he could take the easier fight in Errol Spence and still get a big payday, as opposed to taking the high-risk, high-reward fight where he would have got a big payday against Terence Crawford, but he felt it almost would have been a guaranteed loss. Now he missed out on both paydays. And now he's going to have to hope that he can hold that belt long enough to possibly get a big payday maybe a year from now. There's talks of him fighting against Charles Conwell, and I'm telling you right now, and I believe Conwell would stop Fundora. So I wouldn't be surprised if Fundora takes an easier fight than the Conwell fight. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Decay Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to lodecay.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.